was tough. In victory we win. In victory we win.
Hey guys, it's your girl Latoya Renee, and you're tuning into Sister Can We Talk. This show is an empowerment show that allows us to share testimonies, to uplift, to motivate, and to inspire us to believe in the impossible. Today I have a wonderful guest in the building. It's Pastor Tequilla Anderson. Yay! I am so glad that you're here this morning to be able to share your testimony. I love your testimony because it's the testimony that I kind of share myself as far as rejection and overcoming rejection.
Amen.
Yeah. So go ahead and let's start off with your testimony from the beginning.
So in my childhood, I was my mother left me with my grandmother. Mm-hmm. She was not a part of my life, so I was raised by my grandmother. I had some obstacles because I would, when you get around other people and they're with their mom and dad, you begin to build up this thing of you want that family orientation lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And I had a grandmother who loved me, no doubt, but trying to figure out why I didn't have my mom or my dad in my life kind of allowed me to build up this rejection and anger and bitterness. So I lived my life kind of like angry, bitter, and just like I felt rejected by everything and everybody. Just,
you know what?
Everything.
You had a quote. You said that when you was younger, you always used to ask yourself, "Where is my mom, and why doesn't she want me?"
Yes.
Yeah, and I think talk about that because a lot of children who are feeling abandoned from their parents or anyone as a young age, they don't really comprehend, like, why is my parent not there?
I would always ask myself, where is my mom and why did she leave me? Why was it me that she didn't want? And I would just find myself upset, mm-hmm. crying. I would like not want to be around people. I was real self-centered because I was trying to figure out what was it about me that my mom didn't want.
Wow. So as you got older, you say it was you had siblings also?
Yes, I have a brother and a sister with my mom.
So what was the dynamics with your siblings with your mom, and you wasn't with your mom? How was your dynamic family?
So my mom was in Orlando.
Yeah.
And she worked at Disney World.
Really?
My brother and sister would go visit and stay. I went one time. Worst trip ever. Did not stay long. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I just felt like it, but in the end, it ended up all of us being not with her.
Oh,
no, yeah.
Okay.
So, we all ended up being with my grandmother. So she ended up taking care of all three of us. Mm-hmm. But and then that was kind of rough too, because it was like I was the favorite. So they're older than me. I felt like I was always bullied.
Oh, wow.
Once they got there, but
Wow.
So that added to the rejection and the depression as well.
Yeah.
And I suffered with depression. As I got in my teenage years, I attempted suicide.
Let's talk about the first time you ever attempted suicide.
I just felt like no one loved me. And I felt like I was ready to end it all. So I drank some bleach and I took some pills.
I remember you telling me that this story when I was first interviewing you, and you said you took bleach and pills. Do you know how of a miracle you are right now?
Yes.
Because you look at shows and crime shows and whatever, and when bleach hits your esophagus, it tears all that up.
Yes.
And you're here talking to me now.
Yes. Yes. Thank God. It wasn't my time.
Yes.
And I just thank God. But at that moment, the mindset, you don't even think about that.
So what triggered that moment for you to want to commit suicide?
I just felt like no one loved me. And I just felt like life wasn't worth it anymore.
Wow. And so did someone saw you, or how did you overcome that portion of suicide?
I think my sister walked in the room. They called rescue. I went to the hospital. They Baker-act me.
Okay.
I did go to some place over here. I think it was, I don't even remember, Forsyth Street somewhere. It was a crazy house. So when I got there, I remember seeing all these people in these jackets.
Yeah.
And I'm Lord, I'm not crazy. Like, I snapped out of it real quick.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, God, if you get me out of this, I'll never do it again.
Yes.
And I was blessed because the lady that they had to come interview me was God sent. She loved the Lord. She was a Christian. So she didn't take me to the back. She took me into a little office in a little room and she talked to me. And she just encouraged me. And they kept me there for most of the day. But they didn't put me where they would normally put everybody else.
You didn't have to stay overnight.
I didn't have to stay overnight.
Amen.
They sent me home. And that was kind of like an eye-opener to me too. And throughout all of this, I still was going to church. But as a young girl, you know, you go into church, you hear the word, but you're
a kid.
You're a kid and your emotions all over the place. I was a teenager. So my emotions was all over the place. But I realized something was attached in my heart to know that if you call on God, he will, you know, because I said a mini prayer. Lord, if you get me out of this place, I'll never do it again.
And he did.
He did.
He did. So what happened after that? Because you said you had multiple attempts.
So, you know, life goes on and things happen. You know, I had my first child at the age of 18.
Okay.
And I was with their dad for some years. But, you know, of course, I was looking for love. So the first thing I felt like loved me, I held on to it. Even though it wasn't love. Like, you know, he cheated on me. It was always something.
Right.
I realized I was looking for love, but it wasn't the love that I really needed. Because it wasn't genuine.
Right.
Like, you do something and you buy me something.
Right.
But that's not healing the wound that I'm trying to heal. But I stayed for 11 years. I had 2 kids.
Wow.
And so it was this moment where, okay, so he ended up going to jail. He ended up being sentenced to prison time. And I still had my sons. I was doing it on my own. And it began to get very overwhelming because, like I said, I wanted so much more than what I saw as a child. And
you didn't know how to obtain it.
I didn't know how to obtain it. And life began to just pull me in. So I had a full-time job. I took a week off because I was so depressed. I didn't tell anybody. I locked myself up in the house. I tried to drink myself to death. Never drunk. So I go to the store and I get Patron. That's what everybody tell me, that's the best. So try it. So I go get this Patron. Like, I had like 3 bottles.
Oh, wow. Your first time?
Yeah. I'm drinking. And I actually was in the house and I slit my wrist a few times. Like, I was really trying to kill myself.
Wait a minute. Let's go back. So, wait a minute. So, you first attempt, your thoughts were, okay, I'm going to drink and that's how I'm going to commit suicide. When that didn't work, you was like, you know what, I'm going to try something else. You was determined.
I was determined.
Wow.
I was determined.
Wow.
That didn't work. So, my aunt, God bless her soul, she's dead now. My aunt showed up at my house out of the blue. I guess, you know, God told her something wasn't right.
Right.
She showed up at my house out of the blue, and I could hear her knocking, but I was out of it. My world was, I don't want to deal with anybody.
Yeah.
She wasn't giving up. She knocked on the front door, the back door. She screamed my name. So she went to the office. Asked the office lady to let her in. I don't know how this lady.
I was going to say, they don't know.
Because normally they don't do that. So I don't know what she told them.
Right.
But the lady came and opened the door.
And
let her in.
And saw you.
And then yes.
Wow.
And my aunt, she grabbed me. And the only thing I remember asking her was, please keep this between me and you. And I don't think she ever told anybody. Because I don't recall anybody in my family saying anything to me about it.
Wow.
I really don't recall it. So I think she really took it to her grave.
Can I ask you a question? So your thing was not to tell anybody. Did anybody in your family knew you was dealing with depression?
So, you know, Black families, you know, depression, that's not, girl, you're not depressed. You got to just deal with it and move on.
Right.
So I don't think they really
understood.
I don't think I understood until I really began to
go
through it and start researching.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm dealing with depression really bad. And suicide, you know, when you're dealing with depression and you don't handle it, other things attached to that.
Right.
So I began to have the suicide spirit multiple times.
Yes.
And I just was ready to end my life.
Wow. Wow. And I love what you said. You said because having your auntie come in, you know what I'm saying, and out of nowhere, God was, you might not want it to live, but God had something for you.
Yes.
And you had a quote, you said, God has spared me so many times and so many different occasions. You're still here.
I'm still here.
You're still here.
And I tell people now they don't understand my praise. They definitely
Just
don't
move out the
understand
way
my
because
praise.
I'm going to step on your toes.
Right. Whew, glory. So to fast forward my life to
Yeah.
2018, both of my sons were in a car together in a drive-by shooting. My oldest son was shot 7 times. Once in the head, once in like the neck, and then other parts of his body.
Wow.
They told me he wasn't going to make it. I need to make a decision. And I told them I'm not making a decision because you don't know the God that I serve.
Come on, Jesus.
So they told me my son would never walk, talk. He'll just be a vegetable.
Yes.
I'm not giving up on him.
Yes.
So today I'm here to say my son is 27 years old.
Come on.
He has a daughter.
Yes.
He's driving.
Yes.
He's walking and talking. So the God that I serve,
Yes.
he has truly outweighed
Yes.
the blessings in my life.
I love, because I'm not going to let you skip over this, because you said in the moment your son needed surgery.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So in the moment, he needed surgery. So it was emergency surgery.
Right.
They called me. They came and got me and my husband. They took us to this room. It was this lady. She was the doctor.
Right.
She came out with a form and she was telling me what was going on. She said, I'm sorry to sound like I'm running through a babbling, but I need you to sign here to approve this.
Yes.
That was the lady that I thought did his surgery. So the whole time in the hospital, I never saw her again. So I began to request his medical records to get her name.
No, explain that. Like you never saw her again.
I never saw her
That was the first and the
again.
last time.
So that was the first and the last time I saw her. Throughout his visit, that doctor never came in his room again.
Wow.
And I'm asking people about her, and they're
Like,
looking at me like I'm crazy.
so-and-so?
Right?
Yeah.
They're looking at me like I'm crazy, and they kept telling me, "No, Doctor So and So was the surgeon." I was like, "No, he didn't come out and talk to me."
There was a lady.
I signed the paper, and I watched the lady sign the paper with me.
Yes.
This is not who. And they were like, "Yes, it was." It's a lot. You're overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm not
No,
overwhelmed.
I know what a lady.
I know.
Right.
I know it was the heat of the moment, but I know it was a lady.
Yes.
They kept telling me no. So then I requested the medical records.
Right.
I'm going through all of his medical records. That lady's name was nowhere on none of those documents. I was like, God, this is so crazy. I know I'm not crazy.
Right.
I know I'm dealing with something that's
Right.
overwhelming, but please
Right.
tell me I'm not crazy. I never saw her again.
Angel in
So
disguise.
my son had to have a second
Yes.
surgery. So I explained this to him when he got coherent.
Yeah.
And he came home, and we would tell him about everything because I started telling him about everything because I saw the depression spirit landing on him. Because he would ask me, "Why didn't you let me die?" and all of this. And one night, me and my husband did leave to go to the store somewhere. We left him there briefly.
Yeah.
When we came back, he was in his room with a sheet trying to hang himself. But with the grace of God, it was nothing for you to hang yourself with. You're in a wheelchair, you really can't do much. But he was really done with life.
Wow.
But I grabbed him and I began to pray.
Yeah.
And I began to say, God didn't allow you to make it this far for you to end the life that he saved.
Yeah.
Because there's more in you.
Wow.
And I began to speak life over my house, over my children. And so he had to go back and have a second brain surgery.
Okay.
And when he went in, he was there, and I left to go like get me a bag and stuff. I got a call from him. He's like, Mom, the doctor that you was telling me about, she came in and she said, I'm coming to check on you. I was the doctor that took you to surgery. And when I saw your name on the sheet, I had to come check on you.
Okay, wait. So I have another question for you. So what was the time frame between the first surgery and the second surgery?
So the first surgery was in August.
Yeah.
I mean, August 18th, 2018.
Right.
His second surgery was in November 15th, 16th, something like that.
Okay.
So she came in, she talked to him, and she told him everything. I begged them to take you to surgery. I knew that we could fix what was going on.
Yes.
And she said it was a task, but we did it.
Yes.
And she said, when I saw that you came in for the second surgery, I needed to come because it said that you were alert, you were this, and I needed to come see your face. She's like, because the first time you were out of it. I didn't get to talk to you, anything. She was like, but I wanted to see the improved person that you were because I saw you in the first state. I needed to
Yes.
see you in the second state.
Yes.
And so that second surgery, he was going in because they had to remove part of his skull.
Oh, wow.
And they had to replace it with the artificial skull.
Okay.
So that's what the second surgery was
Okay.
for. And she said, I had to see you. And she explained everything to him. He called me. He was so hysterical. Ma, she came. And I was like, what's her name? He was like, I don't know. He was like, I just asked my nurse. And they was like, I don't know what doctor you're talking about. Your doctors came in an hour ago. And
I'm like, y'all, I am not crazy.
right. And nobody knew who this doctor was.
Oh, wow.
So as I began to pray, and I said, God, you sent an angel.
Yes.
You sent an angel. And when I
Yes.
tell you, you sent an angel, you
Yes.
sent the perfect angel
Yes.
for my child.
Yes. I remember you were saying that the first surgery, that it was something that the doctors wasn't going to do.
The doctors told me that he was mad because they came in and they took us in the room. So this was after the lady took us. So we had to go in another room with the head surgeon over trauma. And he came in, he was like, I don't understand. So I think it was like a neurosurgery and then a regular surgeon.
Okay.
And the regular surgeon was mad with the neurosurgeon because they performed the surgery.
Yeah.
And he was like, we've never performed a surgery like this. I don't know why they did it, why they're insisting on it. This young man is not even going to make it through the night. And we just
Lies
need
you tell.
Right. He was like, I just need you to sign this form because we can't he's already coded 3 times. And we can't keep resuscitating him. He's going to be a vegetable. He's going to be brain dead. And so I said, nope, I'm not signing your form.
So wait a minute, they want you to sign another form saying not to do the surgery.
Not to do the surgery and not to do...
After you already signed the first form.
I never signed... Oh, the first form was for the surgery.
Yeah.
He wanted me to sign a do not resuscitate form.
Oh, no.
Yes. He wanted me to sign a do not resuscitate form. And I said no.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. But talk about how they didn't even want to do the surgery. They didn't even want you to do the surgery, right?
No, he didn't want to do the surgery, but the neurosurgeon insisted on doing it.
Yeah.
So, like the neurosurgeon, because of the injuries that my son had, they kind of overrode him.
Okay.
He was so angry. He went down to trauma. He was like, "How many times have we done a surgery like this?" And the nurse was like, "That's the first." He came back up, and he was really, really, really like mean until. Like days would go by. Like my son, he only coded the first day,
Right.
with the all the multiple things that they had to do to him, and they did have to resuscitate him 3 times. But after that, he was on the ventilator, and he was really swollen. He didn't even look like my child. He was swollen.
Right.
They had to wire his mouth shut, like everything.
Wow.
He did lose. So we found out like in January after the 2 surgeries. I would be talking to him, but I noticed he would, like, if I'm on a certain side, he wouldn't respond. So he did lose hearing in one of his ears.
Okay.
But if he's looking at you, he can hear you, or if
Yeah.
you're on that side, he can hear
Hear
you. But okay, we can get some hearing aids but life,
Nice.
only God can replace life. And I can
Yes.
honestly say God replaced his life.
Yes.
Because also I didn't mention there was a picture floating around on Facebook of him laying on the ground in a puddle of blood, and you could see the blood flowing out of his head.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I hate Facebook.
Right, I'm not even on there.
Oh my God.
Yes.
But to see him now.
But to see him now, you would know something because of you can see the disability,
Yeah. You would never know.
but you would never know.
You never know.
And I was that mother that I didn't want to tell his testimony because I would hear about all the kids they would die and kids being killed.
Yeah.
And I felt like me telling my son's testimony that he's still alive would be like a jab in another mother's side. And one day God convicted me. God said, I performed that miracle.
Come on, Jesus.
You're going to tell it.
My testimony.
You're going to tell my testimony.
Yes.
And you're going to tell the goodness of me.
Yes.
How dare you try to put it in a box?
Jesus.
How dare you? So that's when I began to just give God praise
Yes.
and post it and let them know
Yes.
that my son has life.
And he has survived. But
He
you know
survived.
what? You give the other mother hope. To see your son striving, to see him talking, see him having children.
Yes.
Okay?
Right. Not to say having children born on my birthday.
Okay?
Yes.
Just to see him with life gives that other mother who's going through what you went through hope to know, you know what? God did it for her. He's no respecter of a person. And he can do it for me. Okay, so let's go back, because in the beginning, your mom, like you were saying, she wasn't in your life, and you had issues not feeling love, and you felt rejected. But the end of your testimony is so much greater. Tell us what's happening at the end of your testimony.
So now I can say that the same mom that didn't love me, didn't want me, wasn't a part of my life, I can honestly say now that I have that same mom living in my house with me.
The same address.
Same address. Under the same roof. Beats me getting ready to go worship God.
How
like,
awesome.
It's just amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
How awesome to have God, I swear, because some people can want money, cars, and all that other stuff. But God does some real awesome stuff.
Right.
He reconnects family, which is his first ministry. Hello.
Right.
And he is allowing you to be with your mother.
Yes.
He's allowing your mom to love on you.
Yes.
Your mom beats you to church.
Yes. She beats me in the car ready to go. She did. She does. And I just thank God. And I will say to anybody that's dealing with that, like the not having the love of a parent, not feeling worthy, I would say just trust God, because he's going to make a way, but you have to trust God first, because he's the only one that's going to heal your brokenness.
Yes.
He's the only one that's going to lead and guide you in the right direction, because I was like, she ain't coming to my house. But the God that I serve switched all of that around. God dealt with me. How can you say you love me, a person you don't even see?
Right.
But you can't love your mother, the person that brought you into this world.
Yes.
No, it doesn't work that way. So I had to begin the healing process. Even with the depression and the suicide, I will tell anybody, get help, seek counseling. There's so many suicide hotlines out here.
Right.
Go to your doctor. They can help you. But get help. The first step to understanding and dealing and accepting the fact that you're depressed and dealing with suicide is acknowledging it.
I was going to say
you
that.
have to acknowledge that there's something going on within you. We can't blame everybody else for what we're dealing with that we don't want to face head on. So I say to you, seek God, but seek help also. Mm-hmm. And you can find that help at any suicide hotline, at your physician.
Or even your pastor.
Yes, your church. Someone can lead you in the right direction.
You know, it's funny because the devil will make us think that no one wants to hear our story.
Right.
That our pain doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And that would keep us in a place of pain and just a place of we're not going anywhere. And I want to say this too, because we're not saying it's going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy.
It is far from easy, but you have to want it. You have to want that change happening in you.
Yes.
It's going to be times where I was telling my husband that when God begins to do something, it's like an open wound.
Ooh, yes it is.
An open wound has pus and blood and debris and all the other stuff.
And it stinks.
And it stinks. Oh my God, it stinks. But in order for you to be healthy, in order for you to get better, he has to clean all that stuff out. And in the process of cleaning all that stuff out, it's going to be pain that comes along with it.
Yes, it is.
It's going to be pain. But just because there's pain along with it doesn't mean that you're not getting better. Take each step. And if you have to pause a little bit one day, pause, recover, but continue to allow him to do a new thing in you. You know what I'm saying? Because you have an open wound. And it's not going to get healed by having all that nastiness in there.
Ooh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what God was doing with you.
Yes.
Even with your you had a conference a couple months ago, I think it was?
November.
The
first weekend in November. It was called the Release 2022.
Yes. Come on, Jesus. And I remember you telling me that you thought it was for the people that's going to come. But God had he had something up his sleeve.
Yes, he did.
He was doing it for you.
He was dealing with me throughout the whole process.
Yes.
When he first gave it to me and I accepted that I would go forth, I felt like my life just fell apart. But it was God showing me that I still had some of those things on the inside of me. And that I had to be able to relive all of that to let it, to release it.
Yes.
So it was the release. And I didn't understand the release. But the releasing was releasing the rejection, releasing the insecurities, releasing the depression and the bitterness. And in this conference, I was healed. I was able to walk out free.
Yes.
I released so many things that I didn't even realize was holding me down.
Yes.
Rejection had me bound.
Oh, God.
Like I needed other people to validate me. And I was like, after that, I was like, God was like, you don't need nobody to validate you but me.
Yes.
After that conference, I began to love myself.
Come on, Jesus.
I began to just love me.
Yes.
Appreciate me.
Yes.
For who God made me to be, because I would feel like I wasn't worthy enough.
Come on, Jesus.
But God said, I placed you here.
I created
you.
Yes.
I allowed your life to be what it is.
Yes.
Don't be ashamed of your life.
Yes.
Because your life is a living testimony
Yes.
for someone else. And I just thank God.
Yes.
I thank God.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I love it, because this is what this show is about. It's about us sharing our testimonies so that way we can be the light. We are called to be the light. And it's up to us to share our testimonies, because you don't know who's watching right now that's going through depression, that's going through rejection, that sees you like, wow, what did she do? Right. And we're telling you, she sought God in her life, and she started the healing process.
Yes.
How amazing is that? Guys, I also want to say this. If you're going through suicidal thoughts, if you're going through depression, just like she said, there's so many ways that you can get help. Yeah, you listen to us. Yeah, you listen to us right now, but it's just something to spark you to seek help as far as counseling. There's so many websites, suicide hotlines that we're going to post at the bottom for you guys to call if you're in that state of mind, because nothing is worth your life.
Nothing.
God placed you on this earth for a reason, and it will be selfish. And I'm going to say it's selfish for you to end it without seeing why you was on this earth. What was your purpose, to be? You are made for a reason. You are here for a reason. And if anybody else don't love you, God loves you. And I'm here to tell you.
Oh, yes, He does.
I'm here to tell you, because at one point, I didn't even love myself.
Right.
So that's why your testimony resonates with me so much, because I dealt with rejection. I dealt with not feeling my mother's love at one point. And to see here at me now, and I'm talking to people right now, you would never know.
Never know.
You would never know what I went through. But I had to seek God for myself.
Yes.
It's other things like, when you standing on your mother's prayers, or you standing on your grandma's word, or what she says about God. But when you get to know God for yourself and realize He has a special connection with you, Himself.
Yes, He does.
It does something to you. It does something to you. You can see that God's hand is on your life. Well, once again, I just thank you for allowing us to be able to hear your testimony of rejection and overcoming. Tell your mom I said hello.
Will do.
Oh, guys, thank you for looking and watching us today. Today was a wonderful testimony. And until next time, remember to love, pray, and be that beacon of light for the world to see. Bye.